Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's press conference. The Bulldogs will be on the road for the second straight week at Western Carolina, Saturday, 2 o'clock. Here to talk about the Bulldogs, head coach Brent Thompson.
Afternoon. Talk a little bit about the Wofford game. Unfortunately, we didn't show up in the first half. 30 minutes of football in this league, I don't care who you're playing, is not going to do it. We self-destructed. We had it tied up at the first quarter, and I thought we were going to hang in there just fine. We give up one drive there in the first quarter, and then the second quarter we self-destructed a little bit. And once again, it was the same thing that happened against us at Furman, which was very disappointing. We talked about it, tried to get it fixed last week, and that was compounding our errors on a kickoff and then another penalty on the ensuing drive, and then just setting us back really deep. And then turned the ball over twice inside the 50-yard line, and that's kind of where he set us back. Now, I got to hand it to Wofford. They played extremely well. They played inspired football, and we did not play inspired football for at least the first 30 minutes. Came out in the second half, gave up one drive right at the beginning of the third quarter, and then put a few things together in the third and the fourth quarter, but at that point it was just a little bit too little too late. And, offensively I felt we had some explosive plays. We had some guys that made some plays. We had some younger guys making plays, which is always good to see. 400 yards of offense still. And as I said to the team, 400 yards of offense and 16 points is just not what I'm looking for. We've got to find a way to at least put the ball in the end zone more. So I do think we're getting better offensively, but we still got a longer ways to go. And we're going to see a very good offensive football team this week. They had 700 yards against a good Furman team last week. Had the opportunity to win that game. They're explosive. They're fast. They're going to get you into a lot of space. And if you don't hold on to the football, you're going to be in for a long day. So that's what we've got to do. We've got to run the football and play as solid as we can on defense and just tackle them, keep them out of the end zone. So that's what we've got to work on this week, and we'll keep on working on it and getting better. Questions?
You talk about punching the ball into the end zone and scoring touchdowns rather than field goals or whatever. How do you do that? I mean, what has to change in y'all's offense to get you to do that?
Well, some of it is just getting there to the 1 yard line right there. We had an opportunity from the 1 yard line. And, getting Peyton a little bit used to where he's got to fit that is it's difficult, being that it's his first time kind of in the offense in some of those different situations. Maybe we've got to personnel it differently, give the ball a little bit to somebody else possibly. That is kind of our number one go-to. If we just needed 1 yard, it's kind of just as good as a glorified quarterback sneak in there for 1 yard. But, there's some things that we're probably going to have to change and maybe put about 2 or 3 different plays together there from the 1 yard line.
I know we saw both quarterbacks on Saturday. Can we expect to see both in the game this Saturday?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think I went by really just feel on those two. We started Peyton, being that it was Wofford. He had a good week of practice. He was into the game. I don't think he did anything wrong. We just wanted to give Ahmad a look in there. Unfortunately, they both turned the ball over inside the 50-yard line. One on an interception and one on a fumble that slipped out of his hand. So there was good and bad to each of their play. We ended up finishing off with Peyton. Peyton was throwing the ball extremely well, so we just kind of hung with him in there. So once again, we'll see how the week plays out and see who wins that quarterback job and who really feels the best and who gives us the best opportunity to win.
You got stopped a couple of times on 4th and 1, and 4th down has been really big for you guys in the past. How do you kind of manage to pick up those yards, those short yardage that this offense really should?
Yeah, we were 1 for 3, I believe, on 4th down right there, 1 for 4. The one time we had an opportunity, we got caught from behind right there, and Ahmad got tripped up. And unfortunately, we probably have got it. Once again, it's very similar to the goal line scenario. We probably got to work that scenario maybe with different personnel, different plays, different things that we could have done in those situations. Now, we had scripted out that particular play, and it was a good look for us. We just needed to probably get that scooped up into the gap a little bit better on the backside, and I think we would have had a pretty decent play there. The one that we did end up converting, the 4th and 1 pass play, that was kind of a little bit of a result of that. They were really ganging up on us, so we decided to take a chance and give us an opportunity to possibly score on that one. So once again, it's probably a little bit more schematic. Maybe it does a little bit of personnel, different quarterback, maybe a different beat back in there, and try to maybe put some more beef back there.
Western Carolina looks like they have a pretty good offense. I know you talked about their offense, really athletic quarterback. How do you stop that or at least contain that offense?
Yeah, you try to contain it. You got to tackle it. Not only the quarterback good, the running back's very good, and they're not a air raid team. They're not a dink and dunk it. They are a long ball team, and that's where we've got to practice all long balls this week, making plays on long balls this week. A little bit of a disappointment. I thought we would have matched up better last week. We had a couple of long balls on us last week. Thought we would have matched up better. So if you take a look at that, and we're really going to have to work those in practice, Skelly one-on-one periods as much as we possibly can.
I know the start to the season hasn't gone the way that you wanted to, you and your program. Kind of how hard has this been on you to start the season?
Yeah, it's been. I did have high hopes for this year, and it's up and down. There's things that you can't control. Sometimes it's just the way that the schedule lays out. Sometimes it's injuries and things that are just bound to happen, and you just take the wrong injury in the wrong spot, and it becomes a little bit more detrimental than you would really like it to be. But we still got 5 games left. We got 1 win, so I told the team last night our expectation is to have 6 wins at the end of the year. We need to get to that mark. We need to believe that we can do that, and we've lost a little bit of our confidence along the way here with some of these games, some of these teams, and some of these wins right here, because I think we had opportunities to be able to be a lot better against mostly the last 2 weeks. I think we had chances to win both of those games if we would have played a little bit better, especially on the offensive side. So, the disappointment is there, but we still got a lot to play for here. We just got to keep on going, keep plugging away. There's nothing more that we can do. We can't change anything. We can't change the schedule. We can't change the way that things are. We are going to have a stretch here where we're going to be at home for a while. We just got to get to that stretch. And hopefully, I would love to be able to get some of these guys back. Logan Billings being out, Tyler Cherry being out. Those are 2 key positions for us. And then just a couple of other, even Wilson being out right there after the first game, that kind of hurt us, and lost him for the year, though, unfortunately. So, but nothing we can do about injuries. It's a part of the game. We just got to move on from it.
Are any of those guys going to be back this week, do you think?
No, I don't think any of those 3 guys will be back.
You talked about, when we talked Saturday after the game, about challenging when the ball was in the air. How do you kind of script that in practice and get your guys better? And I know the secondary was, I consider, one of the strengths of the team, and they kind of didn't have a great game.
Yeah, and really the week before I thought we had a really good game. We had 2 interceptions, and that's where my expectation level had kind of rose after that, and I thought we would match up really well with these guys. But it really comes down to practices one-on-ones. Once again, when you depleted on the wide receiver side, number one, you don't want to take an injury there, and even though it's a non-contact drill, those guys are coming down on top of each other, and ankles and knees and those kind of things are concerned. But it was different when you had Raleigh and Ryan McCarthy. Is you had a little bit more experienced guys in there that were challenging those guys, Don Poole and DMAC, every single day. When you're younger, like we've got right now, we don't have quite the challenge for those guys. So it's every single day in practice we've got to find a way to challenge those guys, one-on-one drill and scalar drill.
I thought Christian Hilton, he's been kind of a bright spot for you the last couple of games.
I tell you, without Christian, I don't know where we would be. He's a true freshman, and a young man stepped in, and he really did a good job in camp. Now, we were hoping in camp that he would be the 3rd, maybe the 4th wide receiver, and we were just kind of carrying him as that. And as such, the thing worked out. I mean, he ends up being 4th. Now we're down to our 5th and our 6th wide receiver, which is just tough. It's not necessarily the pass catching ability. It's always the blocking ability, because that always sets up our pass game. And that's where some of the younger guys tend to struggle a little bit. They don't quite have the skill set, strength base to be able to run block all the time. But you take a guy like Christian, he came in pretty good shape. He's a big, taller, physical guy. He's going to put a lot more weight on. He's going to be a really good football player for us. He's like Tyler Cherry, though. He's got great concentration on the ball. He made 1 catch on a post ball that was over his shoulder. Reminded me a lot of Tyler. He can have great concentration on the ball, and he made another one on the sideline. So he's been a bright spot. He's been our go-to guy, and hopefully he'll continue to get better. And as we'll get Tyler back at some point, we'll have 2 really quality wide receivers at least.
Talk a little bit about your front 7 defensively. Have you been happy with or satisfied with the pressure they've been getting on the quarterback? Obviously, that's going to be a big deal this weekend.
It will be, and this is where they'll get you, because they'll spread you out pretty good. They don't, they'll spread you out pretty good. They do a pretty good job of protecting. They get pretty decent splits in there. We are going to have to apply pressure in certain situations there to try to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But I've been pleased with their run stop. I thought, especially in the second half last week, we got some pretty good run stopping on Wofford. We did have some pressure on the quarterback at Wofford. Now he did make some really good throws, and they made some really good catches last week. But I think moving forward is this week's going to be a lot different, depending on which quarterback they do play. One is a little bit more of a threat with the run than the other one, but the other one's going to throw it a long ball. He can throw 60, 70 yards. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.